Lots of time when people are together, especially in partnerships, in business partnerships, or in family, they're unjust to each other, except those who have Iman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Dawud with today's Ramadan Reflection. Today, inshallah, we'll be talking about Prophet Dawud alayhi salam. I picked a particular ayah where when most people find out my name is Dawud Hawa, they'll say this ayah to me because it's one ayah in the Qur'an that has both my first name and my last name in it. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفا في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق ولا تتبع الهوى. It's ayah number 26, and before it, from ayah 16 to this particular ayah, there's a story of Dawud alayhi salam and two men who came in so he could pass judgment between them. Now Dawud was sitting in his chambers where two men come in, and they don't come in the particular means. They didn't come knocking on his door. They actually come in and surprise him by coming in like through a window or something. Now Dawud, upon seeing his chambers and see these two men entering, he's shocked. He's in fear. And the two men come to him and say, "Don't be scared. We're just two people here. We want you to pass judgment between us." Dawud alayhi salam wasn't only the king at the time, but he was also the judge. And leading up to that particular ayah, it says that we have granted Dawud alayhi salam with wisdom and judgment and speech and great decision. So we knew that Dawud alayhi salam has all these attributes. So these two men come in and they're asking Prophet Dawud alayhi salam to pass judgment between them. And before they even tell their story, they say, "Judge rightly between us and do not be unjust and guide us in the right way." And then one of the guys comes in and says, "This is my brother. He has 99 sheep while I only have one. And yet he asked for me to turn over my one sheep, and he has the means to prevail against me in what he says." So the one brother who has 99 sheep is asking the other brother, "I want your sheep." Now we're hearing the story from one side of the two people, the guy with the one sheep. Now upon hearing this, Dawud alayhi salam goes and says, "He has certainly wronged you in seeking to add your one sheep to his flock. In fact, many partners are unjust to one another except those who believe and do good deeds, and there are few indeed." He said basically, lots of time when people are together, especially in partnerships, in business partnerships, or in family, they're unjust to each other, except those who have Iman, and those are only a few. And upon saying this, the two brothers disappear. And at that point, Dawud realizes he was being judged. He was being tested. He quickly falls down to his knees and he asks his Lord for repentance. He asks Allah to forgive him. And Allah forgives him, and he says that he will enjoy a place near us with an excellent abode. And then it goes to that ayah I started off this talk with, where it says, "We said, O Dawood, we have made you a leader in this earth, so rule among the people with justice, and do not follow your own desires, lest they may mislead you from the way of Allah. As for those who go astray from the way of Allah, they shall surely have a severe punishment because of forgetting the day of judgment." Now, this is a great story to study and learn before these last 10 days of Ramadan come upon us. We live in a society today where we get instant news, instant access to information. If it's via social media, via television, radio, newspaper, and most of the time they only paint one side of the story or tell you one side of the story. We quickly pass judgment and start saying, "You know what, this is wrong, this person has wronged that person." And sometimes it might be right, but we haven't heard both sides of the story. So I want to take the lessons that we've taken from this particular story with Prophet Dawud alayhi salam and implement that in our lives. Make the intentions in these last 10 days of Ramadan that these things get implemented in our lives when we're dealing with people. If it's dealing with family members, if it's dealing with our children, sometimes you might have one child come to us and say, hey, my brother or my sister has wronged me. And you might quickly go yell at that other child to say, come down here, why did you do this to your sister? Or maybe punish them, put them in timeout or ground them without actually hearing their side of the story. Or coworkers, colleagues, you might pass judgment because one colleague maybe has a particular position. You might assume because of that position he wronged this person, without hearing their side of the story. So we have to go into our lives making sure we implement this by hearing both sides of the story before we pass judgment. Because the lesson of this particular story wasn't who was right or who was wrong. It's about how we judge people by hearing both sides of the story. So I ask Allah to make us among the people who are fair in our judgment towards people. I ask Allah to accept our Ramadan, to accept our Salah, to accept our Qur'an this Ramadan. May Allah forgive us all and grant us Jannah in the hereafter. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم فإنه الغفور الرحيم. جزاك الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.